Okay, so if you have followers and no sales, stick with me until the end of this video because we're going to dissect this and you're going to understand why you're not converting them into sales, right? So first of all, let's go straight to the point. It depends off the niche, right? That's my first point. Obviously, if your content is something related to stand-up comedy or I don't know, you're broadcasting soccer games or something like that, you got to understand that you have a broader niche, right? And your niche is more related to entertainment, right? So when you try to sell something niched, your conversion rate will be very low because you're selling a niche thing with a broad audience, which is a audience that is not interested in learn something. It's just entertainment, right? So if you have this type of niche, I would suggest you to sell a broader thing, such as a VPN signature, or maybe if you're broadcasting soccer games, you could sell them gambling stuff. But I don't like that. I wouldn't do it. Actually, sell something broad, but which is ethical, okay? And if you want to sell something specific for this type of audience, you'd might likely to create you gotta create a offer journey. And what I mean by that, you can start by saying, hey, if you want to learn how to lose weight, subscribe to this email list or watch this webinar. And within this, you're not going to sell them something directly. You're going to make them pass through a journey to learn something and then buy something. And with that, you create a full process, a full length process to sell them something, right? Because you have to create this consciousness about your product and why they need that. Okay, but this is related for people that working in those broader niches. But if you have a specific niche, you can try to use this offer journey too. Okay, maybe you're too direct to the point, but there's something else here, and this is for you that have a specific niche, and if you're not seeing sales coming in. And a thing to consider is, for example, how much do you connect with your audience? Okay, you got to understand that sometimes if you're a man and is trying to sell something for a woman, your conversion rate could be lower, because the audience don't connect to you so well. But this is not an excuse, but it's something to consider, especially, for example, you got to understand this. For example, I remember to sell something for a sex coach to get better in bed. And she was a woman selling something to men, get better in bed, right? But the problem is why they're watching her, okay? Which this can connect with broader niche explanation. For broader niche explanation, as I said earlier, they might watching you for entertainment. And I think that's the reason she didn't convert so well, because they're watching her, not because they're how to be good and bad strategies, but because she's hot. Unfortunately, I don't have other words to describe it, but she was getting views because she was, showing her body or something like that. And actually, the viewers, they were not watching. They're not paying attention to the content, but they're paying attention to the person, right? To her sexual attributes. So pay attention to it. I also did have a seduction coach, and she's a woman, and she was selling stuff to a man. But they wanted to have a date with her. They didn't want to pay attention to her offer. Okay, so that's another thing to consider. And they should trust in your authority not anything else. Okay, so this is related to what I said earlier. Okay, you gotta create an authority. It's good to do entertainment. For example, I can do jokes here in the middle of the video. This is entertainment. This is not related to the content of this video. This will increase the views, but it's not to increase the sales. So you is not going to increase the quality of the viewers. So we got to keep attention to it. Followers doesn't they don't mean all the time that you're going to have a 1% conversion rate, okay, or 10% conversion rate. You can create a rule for something that is not consistent, right? So so there's this point here: highlight potential gaps in your content or offers that prevent followers from making purchases, right? Um, yeah, I explained this right now. So that there's this another thing: shorts to long-term content. Okay, if you're only relying on shorts, you're only relying on Reels, TikTok, short-term content. Even if you have a specific offer, you didn't create a time to your audience connect with you. Okay, they're just relying in your quick tips. But when you do a long-term content, you're not just making them pay more attention to it. You're also creating more connection, because this is important too in the coaching business. Is not only obviously the quality of your product should be the top thing, but if they don't create connection with you, they're not going to buy. So be on top of that. And short-term content, it's hard to create this connection with them. What you can do for short-term content is to create this connection. You got to create this connection in order to increase the conversion rate. But start to think to introduce long-term content. Maybe you can explain about some history that happened to you while you deliver your content, and you can mix a technical content with your personal experiences. This might increase the connection, okay? And there's just another thing here. Just focus on creating content that doesn't just attract followers, but also encourages them to take action and buy. So be on top of that. You gotta be always doing CTAs. It's good to make them taking actions, because when you have an offer, they will be used to obey you or something like that. So if you're used to make them like drop a comment, to give a like to you, to like your video, they're used to do something. You're ordering to do something, and then when you're ordered then to click on a link, it's not the same thing, but it's kind of the same thing. You see, it's like when you're trying to gain confidence to socialize. If you want to socialize, everyone says like, start saying good morning or good afternoon or something like that. And during time, you're going to increase the inputs, the conversation topics, and that's a strategy, right? So you start by making them like your video or something like that, and then you increase your CTA to something else. Okay, and another point is explore how product market fit or the presentation of the offer can influence the sales even with a solid following. Say this with me one more time. Explore how product market fit or the presentation of the offer can influence sales even with a solid following. Okay? So yeah, this last point is actually related to what I said previously. But yeah, focus on that. Be on top of the offer journey. Be on top of these things that I said to you that is related to the CTAs, and be on top of your niche. Be on top of your niche. You can also be on top of your audience. And be on top of your audience, you'll know what exactly to sell then, okay? So I hope you like this video. Drop a comment, hit the like button, and I see you in the next one.
Subscribe, don't wait, hit that button for real. Transform your hustle, make the most of the deal. Clicks and leads from the screen to the sky. Media buyer for coaches, take your biz on a high. Course creators gather, ain't no time to lag. Ads sharpened up like a knife in a drag. Content so slick, make your wallet go swoon. Meta algorithms got you rich by noon.